Look at this. Look at this crowd of studs here. For season two of Kings on Deck. We're back at it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching the show. We are live at the Miami Hurricanes team store right across campus here. This is, as I mentioned, season two of Kings on Deck officially. We're really excited to be out here. Obviously joined by three of the Miami Hurricane baseball players here. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about baseball as we gear up. We've got less than a week to go before season opens up against Niagara here at home. So we're really excited to talk to these guys. We've got from my Jesus Christ, this is my left. All right, from left to right, we've got Todd Hudson, first baseman Todd Hudson. We've got I gotta look at him. We're gonna make sure I'm saying the right guy. Got Jackson Cleveland over here. Me, got Vish, starting center fielder. No, I'm just kidding. We got Derek Williams over here, starting outfielder for the Canes. So we're really excited to have these guys on, talk a little bit about their journey to get here, and obviously just what makes it special to be here now, kind of getting things going and get ready for the season. So Vish, you got anything to add there before we get started?
I'm excited.
You know,
6 days away, man.
Jake Ogden was supposed to be on the show, but he flaked out because he hit a home run yesterday. So now he's big timer. Although we got another guy that hit a bomb here off of another guy that's here. So we got a little. That's why we separated them, as you can see. They're further from each other because right now they're not. Derek hit one out yesterday. So look, we're really excited about it all. Last year was a tough year for the Miami Hurricanes, right? Coming off a 27-30 record. Not something you typically see, but there was a big transition. New head coach and JD, Laz, and some of the guys that were here. A little bit of change there. But to be quite honest with you, Vish, the biggest thing was the implementation of the transfer portal really started to make a difference for the Hurricanes this year. As you bring in some of these guys that we have on here and some of the other guys that are on the team now, I think are going to make a huge difference for this team. And then down the road, as you start to see a lot more of that big time talent coming into play, which by the way, this is a loaded ACC conference right now. And so you need to be able to have some guys, not only starters, but that depth, some guys coming back as well. Some, the Cam McCormick, I call him the Cam McCormick of the baseball team, Gabby Gutierrez, and Renzo and some of the other guys
Dorian's
as well. So Dorian's back for his 17th season as well. So no, just kidding. But we're really excited to have some of those guys. And of course, it's hard not to mention potentially the best player in college baseball, Danny Cuvée, as well. So, but to be honest with you, I was mentioning this to a couple of the guys yesterday as I was talking to them. These guys got to do their part for everybody.
I mean, I'm excited
for Cuvée to have a great season, right? You got to be able to protect him, around him. Let's start off. Speaking of protecting him in the lineup. Okay, go ahead. Because I'm
shout out, we got to shout out our guy CCH.
He's not. Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's grounded as usual. So I think he's got us in Omaha now.
Oh, he's got us. He's got us going 50 and 10. 50 and 10.
Yeah, the Miami Masters are back. I believe he's talking about you two guys. So
speaking of Miami Masters, right? We were talking about we were talking about Daniel Cuvée. Obviously, everybody knows. Ranked now with the number one third baseman in the country.
Yeah, he's on all the
he's on the Spikes Awards, all that good stuff. But to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of guys in this lineup that could really do some damage with the bat. I think we're going to hit this year. I'm pretty sure these guys believe that as well. So, but we'll start off with to my left over here, Todd. You're coming from a program. First of all, you're in a interesting position. You're in a tough position, but a good one. You're hitting either in front or behind Cuvée, which is, an important spot in the lineup. But you're coming from a place where you did a little bit of both. You pitched, you hit. Talk to me a little bit about your journey to Miami, but not only that, your journey from being a two-way guy, pitching and hitting, to now kind of focusing more at the plate. And I think this is something that's going to hit home to me because when I played college baseball, I was a pitcher. But growing up, I came up as a catcher. I came up as a third baseman. And I always thought I could hit better than half of these guys in the lineup. And then when I got my chance, I did. But then I was the ace of the staff. So there goes that. But so that dynamic is hard, right? It's tough to be able to do both. Now you're concentrating on one. Coming out of Liberty, you played a little bit of both. You pitched, you hit, you played the outfield. You did some different things. What has been the biggest or the toughest transition between Liberty, coming over to Miami, and now just focusing on hitting as a whole. And now, of course, also hitting around guys like Cuvée and Dorian and some of the guys that you have in this lineup.
Yeah, I think it's probably twofold. I mean, first, I think I really enjoyed just having to focus on just one thing. I mean, I split time, like I said, Liberty, and really as practices were kind of crazy of trying to pitch and do PFPs and different stuff with that side of things and run through BP. And then there wasn't really a whole lot of time for defense in the midst of that. So kind of enjoyed just the sanity of being able to just kind of do defense, do hitting, and kind of spend all my time in that area. So I think I've grown a lot as a hitter, understanding kind of different approaches, different things about the offensive side of things through that as well, just being able to spend more time on that side of things. And then, like I said, being around the Cuvées, the Dorians, even some other guys who transferred in, and kind of hearing their approach, hearing their style, hearing kind of what has made them do really, really well thus far. I think it's been cool to have that kind of elite level of hitters around me. So something I really enjoyed.
Very cool. You got something on his trend? Well, so your transition from first of all, how'd you end up at Miami?
Yeah.
Right. And what has it been like? Has it been kind of a culture shock? We were talking about the weather earlier, right? Right now it's probably freezing rain or snowing over in Virginia. It's February, whatever it is, February 8th. It's my mom's birthday, and I don't know the date. February 8th, and it's,
we're live, right?
Yeah, it's 75. And she watches every once in a while. And 75 degrees out, 80 degrees out right now. What's been the biggest transition, not only from that perspective, but just as a whole, coming from a place like Liberty to the Miami Hurricanes?
Yeah, didn't hear, entering the portal, and then I guess they reached out. The brand, you kind of hear of them, but honestly, being from that side of the country, not many people would come this far south, honestly. And so kind of was kind of I enjoyed talking with them, enjoyed kind of hearing what the program was about. Obviously, the legacy, the history of how much we have won in recent years. And so that was exciting to kind of know that background. But just doing that, came out here on the visit. Honestly, I was expecting more of kind of like the big city Miami. I guess I kind of really didn't know it was in Coral Gables that much. It's not as, obviously you have the hustle bustle, you have traffic right here as we talk right now, but it's not as kind of crazy as I thought it was going to be. So I love the place down here. Everything's right nearby. Everything you need to do is right here. So from a location setting standpoint, it's awesome. The weather, like you said, it's amazing. They had snow, I think, probably a couple weeks ago on the field. So definitely not missing that. Enjoying some short sleeves and wearing flip-flops to class every day. So that's been nice. But just coming down here and just enjoying the place. This the resources we have down here for development is second to none. The facilities, the coaches, especially with Nick Soto this year, that guy has been unreal. So seeing what he's been able to do kind of from a body standpoint of speed, athleticism, and kind of just really developing me as a player has been awesome.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, so CCH has a question in the chat. So at Liberty, you went into Gainesville and won. That's a huge rivalry for Miami. How excited are you to get go over there in a couple
week
of
3, right?
Yeah,
week 3.
Yeah, that was the year before I got there.
Okay.
So I heard stories about that, and I also heard stories about that ballpark and kind of how cool that was. So we're definitely looking forward to going down there and hopefully repeating that this year as well.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, look, Jackson, you come from up north as well, right? Pitching in Lamar. Where exactly is Lamar located?
Beaumont, Texas.
It's not up north.
You come from a place. Anything from here is north, right? Remember that. Vish.
I was born in Texas. Remember that. That's not going to go over well. Calling them up north.
Beaumont, Texas, up in North Beaumont, Texas, where you pitched at Lamar. No, it's been. I'm assuming a pretty big transition as well. I know we talked a lot a couple months back at one of the football games. Your kind of your story, your transition to come to Miami. Give us a little bit about that. How excited you are. By the way, it looks like you were named closer, so congratulations for that. Listen. There's a long line of guys here that close. That it's a big deal. So once we heard a little bit about that, we kind of got excited because that's it's the names, right?
Yeah,
the Andrew Walters of the world, the Kyle Bellamy's, the Mike News. I'm going old, but this is the national championship closers. So, but there's a lot of big names that have closed here at Miami. What does that mean to you? And also talk a little bit about your transition and why you picked Miami, coming from Lamar, coming over here, pitching over here as well.
Yeah, so it's definitely big being announced, obviously, closer in Miami with all such as Andrew Walters as such. I mean, it's a big role, but it's something I've done before, especially against big teams at times, and it's not something I'm not fearful of going to do and do my job to my best of my ability. So I'm very excited about it. It's obviously a big role, but it's something I know I can do at some point in my life, and the opportunity's been given to me, so I'm very excited about it.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Do you talk about that mentality coming in? Because obviously it's a team game. You spend 8 innings getting the lead, and now it's on you to hold it, and like how you just stay calm and just do, because you've obviously got the arm talent to close. Otherwise, you wouldn't be closing at Miami. But how do you just stay focused and just focus on making your pitches because your stuff's good enough?
Just more of just trusting everything I've worked towards up to this point. Just being like, hey, just have fun again whenever I get on the mound and just do what I do best. It's just I don't. Baseball's a game of failure. I know I'm gonna fail at some point, but I know with God and everyone that's trusting me to this point, I've put in the work for it.
I mean, I know Derek might have something to say about that, but we'll talk to him later.
You have one home run in a scrimmage, and then the next thing you know,
you understand something about us baseball players. We're gonna bust each other's chops until the day we die, man. Trust me, there's been guys that hit some bombs that haven't landed off of me yet either. So, and I'm 40 years old, so there you go. I also wanted to talk a little bit about you're in an amazing spot. So you've got 2 guys, not one. You got 2 guys that are pitching guys, right? Obviously, you have the legend in JD, just a legend here at Miami, but now he's your head guy. So you've got him, and then you've got Laz, who obviously pitched here, played professionally. And from a mindset, I think that there isn't anybody better than Laz to be able to get you guys ready on the mound, right? There's a big difference between being a guy that can come in and throw hard, but can't pitch, and a guy that can pitch. And so I think that is a huge deal with having Laz around, and having that that experience with him, and also JD, because I know JD's always, I don't care what anybody says, he's going to focus on those guys on the mound, right? That's his thing. So what is it like having those guys as your mentors / teachers, as coaches when you prepare to get on the mound? Is it different than anything you've experienced before?
Oh, for sure. The experience in both of them is phenomenal. I mean, you can't beat it, really. Right. They've been there, they've done that, is kind of thought behind it. So it's really, really easy to pick their brain, see what they're thinking, because they've been there. They've been where I'm at right now. And so getting to learn from them is amazing.
And he's a shorter guy, which appeals to me, because us shorter guys, we got to be bulldogs on the mound, man. Yeah. We can't just rely on being 6'6".
We're all short compared to Todd. I was about to say he's towering over us.
Big guy like that with all we weren't blessed that way. No, but honestly, I think I wish you the best, man. I think you're gonna kill it, and I'm really excited about that. But to be honest with you, we got to talk about Derek and what he did yet. No, I'm just Derek, just kind of talking a little bit about your move. You came from a big time. I think it's a big time program. I know a lot of former players, that played at your school, and it's a transition from a good program to another good program. What has it been like, your journey coming from Wichita State and coming over here and playing baseball at the U?
It's been good so far. So I've really enjoyed my time. It's nice that I'm not playing in 30-degree weather anymore, where it's blowing in or it's freezing cold, and I feel like my hamstrings are going to tear. But I like it so far. Miami's a great spot, and I came to JUCO in Florida for my sophomore year at FSW. And when I went, I really had a good time at FSW. Coach Green does a good job over there, but I miss Florida. I miss the hot weather, and I wanted to come back. And I got an opportunity to come, and I came, and I've liked it so far, so I love it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You got some guys over there that are coaching you guys up in the outfield. I know Coach Anderson, Coach Brewer, even Coach Dominguez a little bit. All those guys. There's some new guys to the program, especially Coach Dominguez. He's a local legend, though. Obviously, he played down here his high school ball, and a lot of guys know him from hitting wise, right? It's a change. It's the field's different. You go out there and playing outfield, you're gonna be playing right field, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure right field.
Right field. So everything, the dimensions might be a little bit different. The way that they teach hitting is a little bit different. Has it been a huge adjustment for you from that perspective?
A little bit, yeah, but my outfield, I've always been like an average outfielder, but I feel like coming in, John, he's a really good outfield coach. he helped me make the jump and got me a lot more comfortable out there. And I'm really excited to show everybody like how much my outfields came along. And I feel really comfortable out in right field, and I'm excited to show that in the season.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I think it's interesting the lineup. Just looking at some of the things. Let me see. Well, first of all, let's see.
I mean, he's
yeah.
doing what he does. But he actually has a question for all three of them. If you want me to throw it
Yeah,
in.
yes, please do.
So he was just questioning about the facilities and how they compare to your previous spots and how excited you are to play here.
Anybody can answer that.
Well, he asked for all three, so we can go around the horn here.
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, they're second to none. I mean, just all of the resources we have from a hitting standpoint, machines, like all the machines in the world, all the different technology you could ever want. So couldn't be any less more grateful there.
It's very different compared to JUCO and then mid-major like level facilities, obviously. But I mean, it's like Christmas. It's like you come here, but it's like Christmas every
Got
day.
all the
You
toys,
got,
right?
They got all this stuff that's meant to like help you make you get better, and if you utilize it the best to its supposed to, and you get better from it.
I think what's interesting is I saw the scoreboard, and then they've got like the miles per hour, but they've also got the spin rate and this and that and the other. And if you don't know what that is, you're like, what the hell? What is this? But if you know what it is, you're excited about it, right? As a player, and you can kind of look at what you're doing or how you can get better just by looking at those numbers or what you can do more effectively on the mounds, more than anything else. But I know inside that right field building, you got some pretty cool toys in there as well.
Oh yeah, no, it's like unlimited options in there. You got everything. You got all the bats, short bats, heavy bats. You got everything in there. You got blast motion. You can put on the headgear and even do some like virtual at bats if you want to.
Cool.
You can do everything. And then the weight room to me is my favorite part about it because it just has everything. And I'm a big weight room guy, and Soto is like the perfect guy for me. So we be going.
I love that transition. Soto again. He's on daddy duty, he says, so he's not here right now. He said he's going to try to come out, but So Nick, for me, growing up, I've known Nick for maybe it's been about almost 15 years now.
What you all will find out is like the Miami baseball community is
we're very, very tight.
very tight. So
group.
when we're out at games, like half the crowd played locally in Miami,
Right.
just up to high school,
That's the truth, man.
and so like everyone just knows everyone. So it's very much a family.
I mean, Nick was my trainer for a while. I went to his gym for a while, and I always thought there's no one better that I have ever experienced from a training perspective and being able to get a regular. I mean, obviously, I'm a former athlete, but at that point, I was already done. But just get me in a position where if I wanted to, I could have gone back and played professional ball. That's how good in shape I was with my arm and my legs and everything. Just the way that he prepares his players. I was like, this guy has. And then I saw him, coaching some of the local high schools and some of the professional players. And I said, Nick, this is you, man. You got to do this, and you got to go do it at UF somehow. Figure it out. And when he got hired, I might have been the first caller he got, screaming at him like if I was his mother, right? With how proud I was of him and how excited I was of him coming on board here. And you could hear the excitement in his voice, and you could hear how proud he is of you guys. And I want to go down the line just like CCH did. We'll start with Derek over here. You just mentioned it a little bit. His style is different. It's unorthodox as far as I'm concerned about a lot of the things that he does, because sometimes you see it on Instagram, you see it on Twitter, and you're like, what are you doing in this position? And it's like, and then you talk to me, he's like, Nick, what is it? Oh, well, it helps with this. I'm like, all right, bro, just talk to me in English. But anyways, he does a great job of getting you guys prepared mentally, physically, doing a lot of things that people don't realize are helping. What has he done for your physique, your health, your mental ability, your physical ability, everything? What has he done coming into this program and really helped from a strength and conditioning perspective?
I think for me personally, he kind of just basically like tuned up everything. Like I feel like I've gotten faster, stronger, and pretty much just like everything in that standpoint. I feel like I've just gotten better. And like when I'm in the weight room and like he tells me something, like I know not to even ask him because I already know like what's behind it. Like he's a good dude, and not only is he a phenomenal strength coach, he's also like a phenomenal guy as well. Like you can talk to him about anything, and he'll always be there for you. But he's just a good guy, and he'll do whatever he can to get you better, and you can go to him about anything. That's
awesome, man. I've seen it with defensive linemen, right? I've seen it with linebackers. I've seen it, but he's also just as good with quarterbacks and pitchers. And you don't think about how important it is your lifting program and your strength and conditioning program is for a pitcher. And again, unorthodox style, something a little bit different. Me growing up, it was about running poles, running as much as you can. Do not lift heavy. Don't do anything over your, like all this crazy stuff. Now it's the complete opposite, and it makes sense. But it's also even more than that. So what has he done from a pitcher's perspective, Jackson, that's helped you kind of elevate your game? Because I've seen some guys are now throwing, instead of 89 to 91, they're at 93, 95. And, some people say, well, that's God-given talent. Yeah, but you can also develop that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what has he done for you in that perspective from a pitcher that has gotten you to that point where now you feel physically stronger, mentally, your stem, everything?
Well, I mean, just from a pitcher standpoint of it, it's definitely obviously a little different than most programs where how the pitchers lift and stuff like that. But it's definitely, for me personally, like my velo is sat consistently higher than it's been. Just I feel like I've gotten more explosive. I've definitely lost some of the weight I had, but it's turned way more into muscle than what I originally had. And so just from running and doing all the stuff that he has us doing, it's definitely benefiting us. And it's definitely making our pitchers better if they don't notice it.
How hard are you throwing now?
I mean, I was originally sitting anywhere between 87 to 92 normally, but now I'm sitting 90 to 92 consistently every outing.
That's huge. That 3 miles per hour is a big deal, believe it or not. So, especially for hitters, right? They see the ball a little bit different. And then you got, on top of that, you got guys like Laz, as I mentioned before. So that's really cool. From your perspective, Todd, you're a big, tall, lanky kid, but it looks like you put on some muscle. Has that been because Nick has kind of helped you out with that? It seems like to me also that when I talk to some of the guys, or when he talks to me, he tells me how excited people are to lift, how excited they are to go to the weight room. After the scrimmage, I was talking to him in the office, and he's like, "Oh, I'm here because some of the guys didn't get their lifting in earlier, but they're coming in later." And it's like, just guys are just constantly in there and doing their thing. How has that kind of motivated you to get where you are now? From just how different is that from what you used to do before?
Yeah, no, he's a selfless dude, that's for sure. I mean, he's always there for us where we need, whatever time. Like, he's always very accommodating. I'll say from the pitcher standpoint, like, we came back in the inter squads this spring. It's like, guys, you were 91 and now we're 94. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
But so no, he's been great for them. But yeah, I think it's just been kind of cool to see how he really structures stuff. I mean, you kind of see, this is my third strength coach in college now. Some guys kind of have their strengths of light. Some guys are more speed. Some guys are more strength and just get big and get jacked. We're still kind of slow. He's kind of really a mesh of, like, I put on weight. I'm the heaviest I've ever been, but also the fastest I've ever been too. So kind of being able to still keep the speed that I have at a larger size, I think, is all attributed to him. So that's something that I've kind of worked with him as far as, like, where's the line of kind of, I don't want to get too big where I lose my speed that I have, and that's important to me. But then he said, no, you actually can get bigger and actually add speed. So that's been really cool to see how he's kind of meshed both of those sides of things, and kind of his, I guess, programming structure is second to none. So he's been amazing.
We got any questions from CCH? Is he bombarding us again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm filtering, but
and we'll get you guys out of here because I know we got maybe.
And let's make sure we plug the lot going on at the live today. So, but yeah, just one last question, then we can plug everything you got going on today. So just this for everyone again. A lot of big alumni base, a lot of players have gone and played in the pros. Who's the most? Who have you interacted with that's been the most exciting?
I'd say for me, honestly, I'd say it's not as much alumni, but Manny Machado is just hanging around. There's a connection with Nick, actually. So he trains him, but to have, like, probably a potential Hall of Fame MLB player just chilling, working out with us in the cages is unreal. So being, I guess, as part of the Miami culture of having just guys that are that high profile being around has been mind blowing to me.
Yeah, it's tough not to see Manny and not get motivated, right?
Yeah,
that guy's an absolute stud.
Yeah.
What about you, Jackson?
I mean, they're not really alumni, but because of Soto, they train with him all the time. Right. Being an Astros fan, and Yuli Gurriel there, it's pretty cool. And so getting to talk to them time to time is really cool, just to pick their brain a bit.
What about you?
Yeah, I would say Manny too. I mean, when you see guy that's going to be in the Hall of Fame working out with.
Manny was going to be a Hurricane, by the way. He just got drafted. In
Yeah.
There's been quite a few of those.
Yeah, I mean, you got MJ Melendez and some different guys from Soto.
Gene Segura. And,
Yeah, Burke is hanging around
that's
too.
right.
So Kieran kind of handling up from an outfield standpoint. Some different.
Rosarena came by yesterday
Yeah,
too. He was better yesterday.
Jeez.
That's the other thing with Miami. People just
Yeah,
people want to
Always, man.
this time of year, especially.
I mean,
people
the
wanna be down
Gurriels,
here,
they're
so-
Cuban guys, so they live
Yeah.
down here. You know, the MJ Melendez, also South Stewart.
Mhm.
There's a lot of guys that are in and out there. I know when he used to train Colin McCarthy, he used to train a lot of the NFL guys as well. And it's cool because, you know, you'll see John. I mentioned this the other day. John Jay is one of my guys, right? I love John. I grew up playing against him and with him, and so he's a good dude, and I keep in touch with him every now and again. But even then, like he's my buddy, but he's a Hurricane. I'm like, a fair Hurricane, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to see some of those guys go out there. But now it's your turn, right? Now it's your turn to be those guys to kind of step up. Before we let you go, real quick, before the plug even, first series coming up now on Valentine's Day.
It's Niagara.
Show them some love and beat them by like 20 runs, okay? But you got Niagara coming down. They've probably been playing with snow with ice bats up there. Or did I get the geographical location of Niagara wrong? Also, I'm not sure here.
No, Niagara.
No, I'm good.
Niagara is actually
It's
up
up
north.
north. Okay, all right. It's not like North Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's a team that, you know, it's not the mindset of, oh, it's not, you know, not a great baseball is baseball, right? So anybody can win at any time, but this is an opportunity for you guys to get going. The lineup seems like it's a pretty interesting lineup. You know, I like it. I think that Derek, you can hit at the top, you can hit at the bottom of the lineup. You can even hit in the middle. I mean, Jackson knows that you can hit in the middle of the lineup. You know, Todd, same thing with you, right? You can hit in front of, you know, a little bit earlier at the top, a little bit at the bottom. I know that JD and the staff likes to mix it up, lefty, righty. We'll still throw in some lefty. Right now, from a lineup perspective, we're talking about you guys first. You know, it looks like Jake might be leading off, or you got Mikey Torres up there. Now, Mikey Torres is an interesting guy for me, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the guys that are coming in that are going to be a part of that lineup. Mikey Torres is an interesting one to me because coming out of high school, live arm, right? He throws Chet, right? He throws hard. He's a great outfielder, right? He's probably top. It might be one or two outfielders out there. In the conference, that's how good I think he is. Question mark is he going to be able to hit, right? It's just, you know, is he going to be able to hit in the ACC? Is he going to be able to hit consistently? Because maybe against guys like Niagara, it gives him an opportunity to get things going, to get confident in his hitting ability. Do you see a guy like Mikey hitting more towards the top of the lineup? How important is it for him to get going? Because you got to get a kid like Jake, who's got some pop. Obviously, he can run a little bit, but now it gives you that flexibility to be able to move guys around a little bit in the lineup. Say, hey, Jake, you're hitting. You know, for me as a leadoff guy, the most important thing is to get on base, not to hit 400, not to hit 25, you know, home runs. It's to get on base so the rest of the guys can do what they do. If Mikey gets going, is he the type of guy you can see leading off, or is he a guy that maybe does a little bit better in the back end of the lineup so you can see some more pitches? How do you guys feel about that dynamic with him?
Yeah. No, I think one of the great things about our team is everybody's so selfless that it really doesn't matter where they are. That like there's some form of whether they're in first or ninth, really just going to be the same guy. That's one of the things about Mikey. He always comes in and kind of does his deal, and he kind of knows obviously what's talent, what he has, but kind of go in there and see what happens. Day-to-day standpoint, but I mean, yeah, already ton of experience in college baseball, so obviously you value that as a coach, and you appreciate that and kind of the maturity there. But I think Mikey, I mean, good thing professional, like you said, is just getting your feet wet, kind of getting those first nerves gone, and then kind of see what happens from there. But yeah, Mikey, great defender, great dude, and I'm sure he's going to perform well. So got no worries there.
So now you got those two guys. You've got obviously Derek. You might hit up there. You might hit a little bit further back in the lineup. How important is it? what's your mindset when you come to the plate? Does it change? And I know you mentioned where you're selfish. You're selfless. You can kind of go wherever and do whatever you can at any point. Does your mindset kind of change when you're at the plate if you're batting second or if you're batting seventh? What you're trying to do, depending, obviously, it's always depending on the situation. But what's your mindset going up to the plate every time?
I mean, yeah, it's gonna change definitely being in the lineup just because like you kind of got to understand like where you were at, who's sitting behind you, who's sitting in front of you, speed guys, who's in front of you, who's behind you. But at the end of the day, when I go up to the plate, I'm looking to do what I can do to help the team win. And if it's drop a bunt, if it's hit a ball to right field, try to go for a home run, pretty much just whatever I can do to help the team win and win. That's kind of why I came here and transferred here for my senior year. So whatever I can do to help the team win, and I'll do it, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Are you looking to get some action this weekend or what?
I mean, hope so.
All
Hope
right.
if our offense doesn't put up 100 runs this weekend.
Well, I hope they do, but I hope
mean,
you still get in.
yeah.
Okay, just let you
No,
know.
it's still throw.
We'll still throw you. They gotta throw you a little bit, you know what I mean? Yeah. Look, I think that you guys have a great opportunity to be a really good program this year. The ACC is tough. You've got Fan Fest going up today, so you get to interact with a lot of the fans. You've got the alumni game.
Yeah, so it's like an all day
Yeah.
for those that are.
I think you got a scrimmage tomorrow again, right?
Yeah, head over. It's an all day event. It's Fan Fest, so meet these guys before the rest of the team, get autographs, do all that stuff. There's an alumni softball game, and then the annual alumni game tonight. So yeah, definitely head out to the light. And all the scrimmages are open to the public, so definitely head out there, support these guys, and then next week, man.
How excited are you? How anxious?
I mean,
are
I'm
you?
excited. I'm old and do this
I
every
know.
year. I mean, you guys gotta be like Hudson.
I'm gonna wear one of the uniforms and just sit there next to the guys and that. What's up, guys?
They can tell. we're
How
not
excited are you
team
guys to get it going?
Very, very.
Yeah, these next 6 days are gonna feel like a lifeline because it's gonna be forever.
I
Like,
can
count on the days are just gonna be slow because I'm ready for it to come.
Oh yeah. Listen, guys, we really want to thank you
Yeah,
for
it's awesome.
for coming by and talking to us a little bit. And you got a fan there. I know it's early, and I know you guys got a lot going on today. So, as I mentioned, you stayed probably even longer than I thought we would. But it's been a real pleasure. I know we keep in touch every once in a while, and I'll be out there to watch you guys play. So will Vish. And we'll be out there a lot to support you guys. But if there's anything else you kind of want to, any last comments, any shout outs to anybody or anything like that you'd like to do, as long as it's not Nick Soto, leave that guy out of it because he didn't show up. Let us know, and you're always welcome to come on the show and shoot the breeze with us as long as the coaches let you kind of get over here. So we'll do some stuff. Anything else, Vish?
No. Thanks for coming out. It's great to meet you all in person, and yeah, we'll see you at the light. And good luck. I think we're pretty confident for a big year here. So, and largely because we got guys like you coming in. So, thank you for joining our program, and looking forward to watching you lead it forward.
Wish you the best. And don't let Harold get a hit today.
That's right here.
Oh, Harold Martinez.
Yeah, you gotta think back the alums, man.
Yeah, are you throwing today?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's up.
All right, don't let Harold get a hit. There you go.
That was directed at you.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks a lot, man.
Of course, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hope you guys kicked some serious ass this year, and make sure that we can buy our tickets to Omaha. That's all. Just want to buy a plane flight
I'll
to
get
Omaha.
him back first.
I've never been to Omaha. Get him back first. Yeah. I'm a pitcher. What am I doing here trash talking to you? You don't get him back.
No.
All right. Make him look silly somehow. Figure it out. No. Thank you guys, man. Appreciate it.
Of course.
And have fun out there. That's the biggest thing I can say is have fun, man. Don't think too much. I know you got a lot, especially now, right? You're trying to compete, trying to win some ball games. The biggest advice I can tell you is don't get in your heads. Go out there, have a good time, no matter the situation, the circumstance. I don't care if you've gone 0 for 3 with three Ks. Todd, Derek, go out there and just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're gonna break out of it. You're gonna get the ball somewhere, get an RBI, hit a pop up. It doesn't matter what it is. Go out there and have a good time. Don't think too much about it. This is a game. Let's love it. Same thing on the mound, man. Same thing on the mound. If you let someone hit one 400 feet off of you, come back, tip your cap, and keep going at it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Have fun. You didn't hit it 400 though. It was more like 375, right? Or something like that. Just kidding. Man. I got you.
Scoreboard bumping, scoreboard bumping.
The score will held it. Gotcha. No, appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you.
Have some fun, man, and go out there and represent that orange and green, and we're ready for you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys. You can get out of here now. You can go. We're gonna trash talk you guys a little bit.
gosh.
Yeah. Should I maybe move up? We more frame.
You want-
Redo the camera.
All right, guys. Take it easy, man.
Want me to just pull the camera?
Jeremy. These guys. Oh well, they left. Huh? No, they're like, man, you guys got nice stuff here. Yeah.
All right, scooch to your left a little bit.
There you go. There you go.
More in frame now. All right.
All right. So that was Todd Hudson, Derek Williams, and Jackson Cleveland on the show. That was cool, man. I had a good time with them.
Cleveland made the arduous journey from up north to join us today.
Jesus Christ, I'm terrible. I'm never gonna live that one down. Talk about getting trash talk from the north. Hey, Lamar in the north is Beaumont, Texas. Unbelievable. Anyways, look, those three guys are gonna make a huge impact on this program, and I think that having them here, I think, is important because we need guys like that in the lineup. We need guys like that on the mound. And I'm just excited to see what's going to happen this season. I think that we've got some good talent. Look, at the end of the day, they got to put it together. They've got to be consistent. They've got to be out there and executing. And it all starts with JD. It starts with JD. I know these players are here and they're ready to go, but it starts with JD making a lot of the right moves on the mound and in the lineup as well. You can't be afraid to experiment a little bit. But at the same time, and I know this was something that drove you crazy was last year, was there was so much change.
Well, I think
too much, right? And there's no continuity that way.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of mixing and matching, a lot of really heavily relying on lefty righty, even like pulling some of our better hitters off because to get a lefty righty matchup with someone who's hitting 200 points lower, it's kind of like
right.
Maybe I know there is an advantage to going righty, but it's not that much. You don't take
no.
But I think in hindsight, look, the team was a transition year, and so what ends up happening is there was no solution within the roster. So I don't think there was a way you could manage that team into like a regional team. So
right.
It was kind of, it was a lot of holdovers from, it was a mixture, it's just a bad mix of holdovers from Gino's era. And then some guys we tried to bring in and it just didn't work. And so this is kind of really JD's first full, go at it. You could tell, I mean, look, we're biased because they came in here and sat with us, but,
right.
Those kids, I think we focus more on locker room guys too. You can say, oh, we don't care where we hit, we're going to contribute,
right? That
kind of thing. That was not the mentality last year.
Well, and you hear that from a kid like Derek Williams, right? I'm like, hey, look, you can hit at the top of the lineup, you can hit up at the back end of the lineup. It doesn't matter to you what your mindset is. It doesn't matter. Wherever I'm at, I know I have to produce. So every situation is different. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to execute. And
exactly. Yeah.
I think it starts with those guys, but we didn't talk about this enough, obviously, because we were with them, but we were with Todd and Jackson and them. But, the depth is going to be important on this team as well. You got some guys coming back. Obviously, as I mentioned, Gabby Gutierrez coming back for his 5th year. You've got Renzo coming back from injury, which I think is going to be important.
It'd be interesting
because
he was pitching a little last year.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of first base. He's doing a lot of first base right now. So, but he's a utility guy.
Yeah,
utility guy.
Veteran guys made big hits in big games before.
Oh, absolutely.
So
and he's been swinging the stick okay. He hasn't been swinging bad. I'm looking at him, but also if you want to maybe give Todd a rest at first base, maybe DH Todd, put him at first base. There's a lot of movement there. I think that.
And where that matters a lot too is like we're trying to build a tournament resume.
Right.
Those midweeks when you can rotate guys in and have guys can still contribute, can still play. You don't have to play the starters in the midweeks because you'll be fine, playing a midweek game with Renzo, right?
Exactly.
That just allows you to get guys rested. That way, you
familiarity with the program, with the team, with the game itself. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
Same thing with Gabby Gutierrez. I think that some people word out there is that Gabby's hitting the ball really well. So if Gabby is the guy that's figured it out finally, how do you keep that guy off the field, right? How do you keep him off the field if he's a veteran? He knows how to play the game because we've seen it. We've seen him play, and when he plays well, he's really good. He's a really good baseball player. He's just had his lapses.
He's been inconsistent.
Inconsistency.
He's definitely got that high ceiling. So if he's more consistent, he's a
But
player.
but what happens if a guy like that comes in and as a replacement guy for maybe a guy that's struggling or maybe a guy that needs a break and he goes 3 for 4 in a game? How do you take that guy out?
Well,
that's where
this also
coaching comes into play, right?
And this
Gotta
also
know.
does help if you want to line up, match up righty lefty and stuff. Not having that big drop off.
Yeah.
He's mentioning last year, Scanlon was knocking the cover off the ball.
Right.
And he would go righty and put Perez in, and Carlito was inconsistent. And then you take, Scanlon's one of the better bats in life. All right, there's a huge drop off there, and now you're
Absolutely.
in. So when it's not as big of a drop off, you can then do that stuff.
Yep.
Shout out to Max. What's up, Max?
Hey, Max. Max just missed. You missed it.
You
Maybe
missed
he didn't. Maybe he didn't.
It is early out on the West Coast, so
Yeah, that's true. Look, as excited as I am about this team because I just like some of the pieces. Right, we haven't even mentioned potentially the second best bat, which is Max Galvin.
Yeah.
Haven't even mentioned him. He's been tearing the cover off the ball. He went like 2 for 3 yesterday when I saw him, or maybe even 3 for 3, hitting the shit out of the ball. Excuse me, but so you got a guy like that, and some other guys. Bobby Marsh is another kid coming in from Penn State.
yeah. CCH mentioned him. Yeah.
CCH, nice. So you've got all this stuff in the lineup, guys that can hit. And as excited as I am, the jury's still going to be out, right? You still have to see it. I don't want to see it against Niagara. I mean, I do want to see it against Niagara, but I don't want to see it against Niagara. I want to see it against.
I will say,
other team, better team, ACC teams.
We did see the
Gators.
warning signs in those. Remember, we lost the game to Long Island, and we kind of had to rally to win another one to avoid
That's
losing.
right.
Like, you could see those signs that
Yeah, we had to score like 15, 16 runs, something like that.
yeah,
right?
maybe it wasn't where it needed to be. I do like that, we got Jackson locked in a closer. We have some good role definition. I think last year we kind of tried to mix and match. I'm totally spacing on who was supposed to be the closer last year. Got injured like in the first series and never pitched.
Andrew Walters. wasn't it?
No. This is last year. Oh God, I'll have to look it up. I'll do it right now actually. But
It wasn't Slade Naderman.
No. It was someone else. I mean, CCH probably already put it in the chat by the time I get this up. But
I think I remember. Yeah, I can't remember his
he pitched
name. Either.
once, gave up a bomb, and then he actually got hurt.
Yeah. I can't remember his name either.
It begins with a D. I want to say.
Yep, it was Dwyer.
Drew Dwyer.
Drew Dwyer.
Sorry, spaced on your name, buddy.
Drew Dwyer.
Yeah, there. I told you CCH would get a park.
Of course he would. Of course he would.
He's a walking sports information director. That's what CCH is.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so like that kind of messed up the rotation pretty heavily. Then we always had some other injuries. So I like that we've got, we got a locked in closer. We know he can close. He's done it on this level. He did it last year at Lamar, up north. And so
just to give you an idea right now, and I think a lot of you guys after watching this will know or already know, starting lineup looks like it's going to be Jake Ogden as shortstop, leading off, and then you've got the second at bat. Second, I think is God.
Is it Dorian?
I want to know it's not Dorian. I want to say it's actually Derek Williams.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I think it's Derek, and then you've got Cuvée hitting third. You've got Todd hitting fourth, or maybe it's Max at second. It might be Max Gallup at second. Yeah, there you go, Max. Shocker, right?
CCH, if you want to walk in, it'll be more efficient.
Max. So Max hitting second. Max hitting second with Cuvée, and then Todd Hudson. Todd, who's on the show right now, hitting fourth, which is that's a huge responsibility, man. Hitting right behind Cuvée, covering him like that, protecting him, and then Max protecting Cuvée. Because look, and I keep saying that because it's important to understand that if you don't have any protection for Daniel Cuvée, if you're not hitting around him, there's a good chance that he's going to try to do too much and not be the guy that we think he's going to be. He could have that potential sophomore slump, as we like to say. Now, he's a great hitter, but you don't think that every single team in the country, when they face
you
this,
got to punish
they're
him.
trying to figure out how to get him out.
Well, they're not just they're
Bottom line.
I mean, step one is like with Todd and Derek, those guys that are going to be behind him.
Right.
They got to hit. because
They have
otherwise
to.
they'll just pitch around.
They will.
And, yeah, so you can pitch
100%.
around one guy, but if you punish it, then they can't do that anymore. So it's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely.
And you asked him about that, right? There's a lot of pressure on Todd. If he's right behind him, you're gonna, a lot of times you're gonna have Cuvée on base. You gotta drive him in. You gotta make him pay for it, so they have to throw to him.
Yep. I think, as you mentioned there, I think Derek is hitting fifth, with Dorian sixth, and then I think you've got Bobby Marsh hitting seventh, or flip those guys around, and then you've got the question marks. Is Mikey Torres gonna hit, and then Tanner Smith behind them as a catcher? Behind the dish, there's no one better than Tanner Smith in the country, if you ask me. He's maybe in the ACC, let's say.
He's
but can he hit? Can he hit is going to be a tough question. He hit about 200 at Oregon State. Is he going to be able to hit? If he can hit 250, I'm happy.
This might be asking a lot, but Scanlon did something similar at Oregon. Was hitting not a good hitter, and
he was hitting less than 200.
Yeah,
right?
by the time he left here, he was not going to cover up the ball. And we had a couple of guys. Cuvée, obviously, everyone knows. Dorian really came on last year at the plate.
A solid year last year.
Again, when the team is that underperforming, it's hard to look
and he was
for those
cleaning up last year too, right?
Yeah, but
crazy.
Dorian had a really big year at the plate. Scanlon's obviously gone now, but he had a big year at the plate. So, it's not, some of these guys can take a pretty big step forward.
Right.
Maybe Kulikowski this year.
Another guy that, and I know CCH mentions him here. I did see him play yesterday a little bit. Another guy who's almost as good, but he's right there neck and neck with him at center field is Fabio Peralta, is a freshman kid coming in. It's got kind of the same build as Mikey Torres does. Doesn't have the arm strength that Mike Torres has, but yeah, it's good. It's very, very good for a center fielder. Can cover a lot of ground. He's a speedy guy. At the plate, that's the kind of guy that maybe at the plate could potentially hit a little bit better than Mikey. He's been doing really good now in the fall. So, if he starts, you still have an unproven guy at center field who hasn't played college baseball at all. So you got to wait out. You got to maybe test that out a little bit. Do you start Fabio or do you start Mikey Torres? I will tell you this, right? Torres is a guy that's electric on the mound. So big lefty arm, 91 to 93 on the bump. Strong kid, has some good pitches. So if he's a kid that you've determined that he's not going to really be able to hit, you're probably going to have to focus him on the mound, which is fine, right? I think that's what a lot of people are saying anyways. So you got to be able to develop that bench. You got to have Kulikowski be able to hit a little bit more. Gabby Gutierrez, Renzo, some of those other guys on the bench that are there, even some of the young guys like Puig and Evan Tavares. Nolan Johnson, I think, is right now, if you ask me, Nolan Johnson's your backup catcher. I like what he's done back there. He's a big kid, big freshman. We talked about him a lot last year. Remember, I thought he was going to be a good little ball player. He's developed. He's gained some weight. He looks strong. He looks good. But right now, it looks like Tanner Smith behind the dish is going to be the biggest question mark on at the plate. At the plate. We'll see. But the lineup overall, I think it's a strong lineup. You always have a couple guys. I don't care if you're a big program or not, that are going to hit 200, 220. You just got to be able to manufacture runs when those guys are hitting, right? You got to understand the game. You got to understand the situation.
Yeah, and one of the things, we struggle with the last few years is just situational hitting, getting productive outs. It's not even necessarily getting a hit or getting on base. Just like, hey, move the runner over. And we haven't done that well at all.
Right.
A lot of strikeouts. We're a high strikeout team, and that kills rounds.
I'll tell you what, Fabio and Mikey are bunting a lot. They are bunting a lot.
I'm okay with that. Like, I think, it's obviously ideally you're getting hits, you're getting on base, you're drawing lots,
sure,
all that stuff. But secondarily, get a productive out, move a runner over. It's still a good outcome, especially if you're not a high average guy.
Right.
And yeah, we just have not, even our best hitters, a lot of strikeouts, runner on third, less than 2 outs.
Even at some point, Cuvée had that issue during the middle of the season, right?
Yeah, stuff like, runner on third, 1 out, just hit a fly ball, we strike out, no score. It's like, we should have gotten a run out of that, right? I mean, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, situational hitting will be key as well. So, we'll see. A lot of new faces. So let's see how it meshes. Big job for JD to get to mesh together.
Yeah, I think that a lot of fans are going to, at first it's going to be a struggle getting to know a lot of these new faces. We haven't even talked about the mounds, right? Obviously,
Let's talk about the rotation here.
I mean, look, it looks like Nick Robert is your Friday night guy.
Yeah. I think that's a good role for him.
Yeah, I think it's good. Look, I saw him throw 4 innings yesterday, and he was 93 to 95, on the mound. It looked solid. Looked like he was throwing hard. His slider and his off-speed stuff looked solid as well. But you're still gonna have to play some defense behind him,
Right.
okay? Because he is going to with that type of stuff. He should be able to be dominant, absolutely dominant. He still has his tendencies to leave the ball over the plate a little bit and get hit. If he gets hit, you got to play defense behind him. But he looked pretty good yesterday in 4 innings. The second guy, it looks like it's going to be Brian Walters.
Him is
the
a
Saturday night guy.
Question of health.
Right? Can he stay healthy?
He's been injured.
He probably has the best arm.
Yeah,
right?
When he's pitched well. He keeps getting hurt. Now we're asking him to do, I guess, a different role. So maybe that'll actually help. It's pitching once a week with extended innings versus coming in in the middle of the game. So that might help him stay a little healthy.
If he can do that, if he can be productive, he can get 4 or 5 solid innings from him on a Saturday night. And
that's the goal initially. And then JD's very good at managing arms. That's why last year with so many injuries was surprising. He's been very good at. He'll conserve the arms. He won't. No one's going long the first few weekends. He doesn't do that. He makes sure that they ease into the season. So I think if there's a way to keep him healthy, Jay will do that.
And then your Sunday guy, it looks like it's going to be Griffin Hughes at this point right now. Another kid that throws a lot harder than I thought, right? Just talking to Nick Soto, talking to some of the guys. He's up around 91, 90 to 93. He can hit 95, according to some of these guys. Do I expect him to do that right off the bat? No, I think it's going to take him, maybe the adrenaline will get them and they'll throw hard a couple innings, but then they'll kind of settle in. Hughes is a guy, big, strong kid who can go some really good innings. A friend of the program, Will Smith, remember him. He's the guy that's going to factor into the rotation a little bit, along with Alex Giroux, who's going to be. It looks like he might be your weekday, midday guy. Your midday starter right now is Alex Giroux potentially. But there's a lot of names out there. There's a lot of arms.
Yeah, and it's going to be
of young arms.
Yeah, and it's going to be figuring out who can bridge. Because I think Nick Robert. He faded a little bit at the end of last year because he's a freshman. That's going to happen. But he's definitely Friday night worthy.
Absolutely.
We know Walters has good stuff. Who can bridge from those types of guys to Jackson, Cleveland, right?
That's the question. Because
the other thing, we don't want to have to do, which you don't want Jackson have to pitch like 3 inning saves all the time and all.
Right.
So you definitely need that bridge, and we have a lot of options there. It's just
there's some guys that throw really hard, that throw just as hard as Jackson, that could potentially get you some. I think the difference between Jackson and maybe some of these other guys is his experience. Right? He's a veteran. He's been around for a little bit.
It's not, being the closer is not just
not just throwing hard. As we know, Kyle Bellamy didn't throw hard here, right? There's some guys that didn't throw. Really hard.
That's why I asked him about his mentality, because it is that. It's like I got to get 3 outs here any which way.
Right.
Being able to, you really, in a way, closers really have to know how to pitch more.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
Because they're going to get,
it's great to have a guy that throws 97 to 99. He's going to shut the door. But how many guys like that do you see in college baseball?
But even them, they can turn on those and even
then, exactly. Even then.
So I think that'll be the key. Is to me, it's the middle relief. Getting into, I'm confident in the closer, and I think our stars are going to be good. I think it's that bridge.
I think one name we need to keep an eye on is Alex Staniak. I think that's a kid. I believe it's Alex Staniak. He is a kid who had some arm problems last year, had a little bit of injury concerns, but he is back. He is a strong kid. He's built like a linebacker, and he's throws hard. His ball it's lively. It looked pretty good. Another kid is the freshman that I saw throw yesterday. Needs to learn how to pitch a little bit, but it's got good stuff. Is Tate Darius. Tate Darius looked pretty good yesterday as well. And, of course, there's some other guys out there. Reese Lumpkin, who we brought in from the transfer portal, that figures into
and I think it's important to have those veteran arms out of the portal that, as CCH said, there's plenty of guys that can be serviceable in that bridge role. That's what you're looking for, right?
You want that because I think you're going to have to play that game.
Yeah, and then just again, you just got to beat the team by 1 run. So
if you look at this team initially, you don't see a team that has a rotation that can go long,
right?
That can go 6, 7, 8 innings. I could be wrong, and I hope I am. But chances are you got a team that has a rotation of guys that can go 4 or 5 innings,
Yeah.
and then you have to have those bridge guys. And so this is, I don't want to say it's built like a major league rotation, but it might have to be managed as such to get the very most out of your staff. And it could work. I mean,
we do have the
it probably
coaches
will work.
that to manage that through because it puts a lot. It basically shifts the pressure from a few starters to eat all the innings over to the coaching staff to know when to make moves, when to go to which guy, and kind of manage through that. So, it shifts it over because if you have a bang on starter that you know is going to get you 7, 8 innings, it's much easier to manage it when you know you get somewhere around the 5th, 6th inning, you have to make a move, and then you have to make the right call over and over again.
Right.
It puts that pressure on the managers to okay, I know I got to go with this guy here.
That's
and it's not always the same answer, so it's challenging. But again, we have I would say our pitching coaches are best.
Do you have
best
the
in
lineup?
class.
You have the lineup here.
The
roster.
The roster, yeah.
Just want to look at it real quick. Well, that's last year's roster.
Oh wait, yeah, because I was looking at
this year's roster real
There
quick,
we go.
just to give you an idea.
You want to do by position or?
Sure. There we go. Yeah, that's another name, another graduate student, Carson Fisher, Griffin Hughes, Reese Lumpkin, as we spoke about, Tate Darius.
Yeah, and CCH was talking about him potential starter down the road.
Tate Darius, he's got really good actions on the mound.
Yeah,
tall, lanky kid, as you mentioned. There's 6'4", 188. Tall, lanky kid. He's like 91 and 93 now as a freshman, coming from Jersey. Kid throws well. He's a good pitcher, really good pitcher. I like him. He's got to learn how to pitch a little bit more. Will Smith is obviously one of your other studs, but this is a kid right here, Alex Staniak. Not a huge kid as far as from a stature perspective, 5'11", 180, but he looks built like a linebacker. He's solid. He's another redshirt freshman, as I mentioned last year. Had some issues with his arm. Throws hard. I think he's a kid that can come in and look. He's very intimidating on the mound from what it looks like. Alex Giroux.
Another grad.
Excuse me, another grad guy.
Veteran arms they're going to rely on to get outs.
Never heard of this guy, Brixton Lofgren. I mean, I have, but he's another young kid that transferred, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know from Fordham. But yeah, Oliver, local kid.
Now, the biggest question mark that I think a lot of people have is on another number 99 that we're bringing in. Is Lazaro Calera, otherwise known as Lachi. 6'5", 230-pound freshman from Westminster. And now this kid is a kid that, from what I gather, threw a lot harder than he's throwing now as a senior in high school and in tournaments and in showcases. But I also have a direct line of contact to one of his personal coaches, who's a former teammate of mine, who mentioned that it's a lot different to go into a showcase and have to throw one inning of lights out, of just like letting it rip as hard as you can and not worry about pitch placement so much and all these things. You're showing out. Your adrenaline's pumping. Now, when you're throwing 2 or 3 innings, can you throw consistently? Can you pitch consistently? And so that's where I think they noticed that which is fine. I think they're okay with the fact that he's not throwing as hard.
And we actually talked to
again, it's about learning how to pitch. And if he can throw still 93, 94 miles an hour, as a freshman kid, I think you'll be fine. But I think he's the most talented arm out of the bunch, but they're still trying to develop him a
we
little
actually talked to David Gill about that in the preseason last year. It's a difference between throwing gas and knowing how to pitch. Right. And that's the adjustment you're making from high school when you can just throw it past everyone. Right. You can't do that on this level. So you got to, less adjust and learn how to pitch.
And I saw him throw a little bit yesterday. That one inning that I saw him throw, he was 92, 93, Lachi. So I think that if he can keep it there, just keep developing. I think he's a guy that the team might rely on a lot. He's a big physical presence on the mound. So if we can get him to buy in and really develop his pitching, I think he might be successful. So we'll see. A lot of question marks again on the mound. A lot of new guys. Right now the guys that we know that we feel confident with, quote unquote.
It's not that many.
Nick Robert, Brian Walters, and maybe
That's kinda-
you know, and
and
maybe
Ja-
Jackson.
Jackson's someone that I think we're all confident in. Again, he was brought in to do that role.
Right.
He did it really at a high. Lamar's a bit. I mean, Jazz doesn't know where it is, but it's actually a big
It's
program.
North
in Texas.
Beaumont,
It's a big,
in the north of Beaumont,
it's
Texas.
it's a big program in Texas. That's a high level of baseball.
It is,
They're
it is, it
typically
is.
in regionals.
Should know that. I
Um,
thought Lamar. For some reason, I thought Lamar was in Ohio.
It's
I don't
kind
know
of
why.
it's kind of like a similar level to maybe an FAU.
Are you sure
type.
Lamar's not in Ohio? He's lying to me.
I'm 100%
You know.
sure. I
All
know
right,
it is.
all right, all right.
But it's probably similar when we start talking about some of the schools in Florida, like USF, that kind of level.
Okay, right.
So yeah, so it's a solid program there. Like I said, they're in the tournament every year pretty much because they dominate their conference. So he was brought in to do that role. Wait, what? That's a buckets announcement. I guess Bill Courtney is not going to be coaching the team today. That's 2 p.m. on the road. But anyway, back to baseball. Let's quickly talk about the ACC tournament, and then we'll do some predictions and get out of here. I know they got an event at the store, which we'll plug as well. But so the ACC tournament, what do you think? So let me just recap if people aren't aware. They announced a new format this week. It's so weird to do it right before the season starts. So it's now
implemented this season.
Yeah, it's good to go for this season. So it's now there's 16 teams that play baseball in the ACC. Because Syracuse and I'm spacing who else doesn't have a baseball team?
Syracuse and Cal. No, Cal
has a team. Someone else doesn't have a team. Anyway, there's 16 baseball teams. Yeah. So what they're
now I'm thinking which one doesn't. Cal has a team.
There's 18 without.
Georgia Tech has a team.
Who should have a team, right? Who doesn't have a team? Anyway, well,
whatever. If it's just one program that doesn't have a team,
it should be 17 then, right?
No, because it's 17 total. So
there's 17 in football. There's 18 in.
There's 18 because Notre Dame is part of the ACC in baseball. Yeah, you're right. Huh, interesting. Anyway,
whatever. We're not good at the math here, but what we do know the new format: single elimination.
SMU doesn't have a team.
SMU doesn't have a baseball team?
I don't think so. Yeah. We might have to check that.
Okay. Anyway, we should ask Jackson when he was here since he's from up north in Texas.
Yeah,
theoretically, everything is up north from here. So
exactly. That's why I said it, right?
All right. But yeah, so it's single elimination tournament. There's buys and all that built in, but so everyone makes it, which is different from what they're doing in basketball, where the bottom three don't make it.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The top 4 teams have double buys.
Yes.
Then the 5 through 8 have one buy, and then the 9 through 16 play each other immediately.
Yeah, I believe so. Wait, no, I think the top 4 seeds only get one buy, right?
No, it's 2 buys.
It's 2 buys.
They immediately go to the quarterfinals.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. 2 buys. Yeah, you're right. So what are your thoughts on this?
In essence, there's 2 ways to think about it, right? Number one, the first way is, the old format allows you to maybe play a couple extra games and have maybe play your way into a regional, right? Yeah. You won't have this option now.
Well, you just got to win.
You just got to win, right? You got to win, right?
Which for the bottom teams was the case anyway, because the way they did the weird tiebreakers, where like in pool play, if you tied, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. What, I think that's 5 games. 5 games, yeah. Which you'd have to win 4 in the previous format if you weren't in.
5 games to win, 5 direct. You can't. Yeah. There's no room for error, though, right?
There wasn't for the bad teams. There wasn't anyway. Like last year, for example, we had to win both pool play games because the tiebreakers don't work for you. So if you lose a game, you're out anyway.
Yeah. I'm okay with it. I really don't care. Just win your games.
I think it's better if
get in the top 4.
Yeah, it's better. It's definitely better if you're in the top 4 because you can also start making decisions. Hey, we know we're a national seed. We'll just throw a bullpen arm if we win.
Well, that's
right?
what'll happen, lose, right?
We'll just
that's
go
what
home.
They said, right?
Play one game. We don't have to use our bullpen.
And that's it. So throw a back end guy 1 through 4. If you win, great. If you don't, that's fine.
I think it's better. I think it's probably better across the board because for teams that are kind of locked in there, they can manage accordingly and say, "Hey, we're not going to use our top arm."
Chances are your top.
Yeah, we're not forced to play 2-3 games even if. So if you're one of the top, you lose the first game to go home, and if you keep winning, then maybe you're like, all right,
then you're good.
Right, and then for the the alternative formats would have resulted in teams not making it. Period at the bottom.
True.
So definitely,
Well, how many teams? 4 teams, right? 4 to 5 teams.
Yeah, if they used the same format as last year, it would have been five teams. Yeah, I think that wouldn't make it. So 12 were there. And remember, last year not everyone made it, so it's different.
We just squeaked in.
Got in there. Yeah. So this is a good. I think it's a better format. Gives access.
How many games are played throughout the year? How many total games?
Let me pull that up and good transition just to we can do some predictions here. So I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a count here, but that's the schedule.
You should have counted.
I mean, everyone wants to say I want to be count for the next 5 minutes. I will
Okay,
say,
so let's start with the top, right?
yeah, but I would say the big difference. We'll get to it at the bottom. But,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll go through these first ones real quick. So we talked about Niagara. We got Princeton after that. So those are your two kind of warm up series. Princeton's a 4-game set, so they'll be able to work out some arms, and then it's Gainesville.
Then it's Gainesville. At the beginning of March. Well, end of February, beginning of March.
End of February and March.
At Gainesville. Ooh, I'm gonna try to be up there at that time.
Three-game set.
I'm gonna try to be up in the Florida or Orlando, Jacksonville area. If I can squeeze a game in, I'll see. But
nice. So that's the big out of conference this year. Then we host Connecticut, and then that's ACC play straight up rest of the way.
Okay, I'm gonna do this for you guys. You ready, guys? Here we go. This is legit good radio right here. 3, 4, 4, 4 and 8, 9, 9 and 3, 12, 12, 13, 14, 14 and 3, 17, 17, 18, 18 and 3, 21, 22, 25, 26, 29, 30, 33, 34, 37, 38, 38 and 3 is 41, 42, 42, 45, 45 and 3 is 48, 49, 52, 55 games total. Whew, see, my math was pretty good there, right? I did that all right.
We haven't verified the accuracy of that. We can't confirm that. Plus or minus one game,
it's 55.
55-ish. Yeah, plus or minus one game. Okay, so what was the purpose?
Oh, wow, this is tough. I'm going to go 37 and 18.
I mean, that would be a very reasonable record on the schedule.
Right?
That'd be really good, yeah.
37 and 18. I think that, I think it's a decent record. I think that's a
regional record.
That's a regional record,
yeah,
right there.
just for clarity,
Will they host? I don't know.
Last year went 27 and 30, so
it's a nice little turnaround. I don't think they'll have the FSU type turnaround that the FSU had a couple years ago, but
one of the big switches this year is with the expanded conference. There's an extra series. So if you noticed as you were scrolling down here, did you notice what was missing at the end? Usually, there's a giveaway series at the end where you can get someone. No, straight up. Yeah, BC, NC State. Virginia,
by the way, do you know where BC is being played at a Fenway Park?
Oh yeah. Not all the games. Are just
no, I think one of them.
Yeah, that'll be a great experience.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, but so that usually because we have finals at the first week of May, so usually that series we play out of conference against. Not anymore. So this is all ACC play.
That's right, baby.
So,
all right.
So
37 and 18
37
and a regional host.
I think we get to 40.
40 and 15. Wow, that's a solid record. That's potentially a top 10 record.
Potentially depends on where the wins
potentially come. A national seed record.
I think that UF series will be good to get off on the right foot, and then from there, I think there's potential. So
we got some of the Kings football players.
Yeah, actually, we should. I think they need.
Jeremy's probably gonna kick us out already.
We're all in the space here, but we'll all right. So we're both confident. So we both think this is a regional team then for sure, right?
I think it's a regional team.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good bounce back for JD. Get this thing going in the right direction.
How far they go, the pitching staff only knows. So.
Yeah, but I think I trust. I know last year was bad, but JD has pieced together worse pitching staffs than this and got it done.
I think this is not a bad staff. It's just a young staff.
It's unknown. So.
It's unknown. You got Robertson, Walters that you do know, and some of these some of these older guys can come in and that's what you see a lot with a lot of teams is young pitching can't get through. If you have some older pitching, which you've got some young guys, but you've got a mix of nice transfer portal guys as well. So see what happens. 37 and 18. He's got 40 and 15.
Yep.
Jeremy, what do you got?
What's your baseball?
What's your baseball record? 55 games. 55 games. 35 and 20. I like that. I almost went 35 and 20. I went 30. It's easy math, right?
There you go. He's a pro.
Without the postseason. That definitely does.
Yeah, that will.
Adjust accordingly as the season goes. Thank you guys for watching the show. We appreciate it. We're really excited about baseball season coming up. If you are around town, head over to the Miami Hurricanes team store over underneath the Thesis Hotel right here, right off of US 1.
Okay.
Oh, and there'll be a fan fest
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, so busy day. So
So
they're
it's a-
doing so as Jazz was saying, 1 p.m. There's a signing. We got Charles Brandt leads, Zachariah Poyser, and Emmanuel Carney in stores. So definitely come over to Thesis Hotels, just as it's in the Thesis Hotel on the first floor facing US 1. So check them out over there, and they'll also be out at Fans Fest. Definitely head out to the light.
Yeah, fan fest is today.
Busy day
They've
at
got
the
the
light.
alumni game, alumni softball over at Marklight. So make sure you check them out. And next week is
Niagara.
next week's Niagara, but before that, even there's a conference, media day for the Kings. I'm going to try to be out here for that, and maybe get you some more information on what's going on with baseball. But aside from that, that's what we got.
Yeah, we'll be
Vish?
we're back on the horse.
This is
CTH can stop yelling at us.
I know this was a good. This was a good first one.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
This is
All
a good
right,
first
yeah.
one.
We'll be back with weekly shows are coming, man. So
We'll figure out a day. We'll figure out a
we'll
time.
squeeze it in there.
We'll
Maybe
figure
just
this
do
out.
it after football or something. We'll get it done.
Maybe. All right. See you guys.
All right,
Adios.